Okay, so today we're jumping straight into a piece of home theater gear that, honestly, it sounds a little too good to be true.
It really does.
We're doing a deep dive on the Pioneer VSX-535 receiver. It's promising things like Dolby Atmos and 8K video for just $379.
Which is an incredible price point. So the mission is it really the budget marvel it seems to be? Or is there a catch?
There's always a catch, but when you
Yes.
first look at the spec sheet, I mean, it's hard to find one.
You're right. It looks unstoppable on paper.
Yeah.
You've got HDMI 2.1a support, which is the latest standard. You get Dolby Vision, all the key gaming features.
Like VRR and auto low latency mode.
Exactly. Everything you'd want for a modern console or PC.
And it's not just the video features. The audio calibration seems pretty solid, too.
Oh, yeah. It has an auto room calibration system run by a 32-bit DSP. I mean, that's pretty sophisticated processing for tailoring the sound specifically to your room.
And you can configure it for a traditional 5.2 surround setup or a 3.2.2.
Right, for those all-important overhead height channels you need for true Atmos.
So you get all that, and it's even slimmer than the last model, which immediately makes you ask.
Where's the compromise? How did they hit that price?
And this is where the deep dive really begins. It all seems to come down to one thing: power.
The power supply. It's rated at 80 watts per channel.
Which sounds decent enough,
I
but
mean,
that number is a little misleading, isn't it?
It is. Our sources confirm that's the rating when you're only driving 2 channels at the same time. The classic industry trick.
So not when you're watching, say, a huge action movie.
Exactly. When you need all 5 main speakers firing at once, your front, your center, your surrounds, that power output drops. A lot.
And Pioneer even recommends using speakers with 6 ohms or higher impedance.
Which basically tells you it's designed for speakers that are easy to drive. They're not power hungry.
So if you have a big room or some really demanding speakers, this unit is just going to run out of steam.
You'll notice it first in the dialogue clarity. It might sound strained. We saw reports in forums where users had to crank the volume way, way higher than they expected.
Some even pushed it so hard, the receiver went into protection mode.
Which makes perfect sense. That weak power stage then leads directly into another major limitation: the connectivity.
You're talking about the subwoofer outputs.
Yeah, it has 2 of them, which is great, but they're wired in parallel.
Okay, what does that mean in the real world for someone setting this up?
It means you lose independent control. To get smooth, even bass in a room, you really want to be able to adjust the delay and the level for each sub individually.
Cancel out room modes, things like that.
Precisely. But since they're in parallel, the receiver just sees them as one single subwoofer. You sacrifice all that fine-tuning for bass.
And then there's what I think is the biggest bottleneck of all.
The lack of preamp outputs.
That's the real deal breaker for anyone thinking long term.
It's a permanent dead end. There is no upgrade path. You can't bypass its internal amps if you decide to buy a more powerful external amplifier down the road.
So whatever power it has on day one is all the power you're ever going to get. You're locked in.
Completely locked in. And beyond just the hardware limits, users were reporting some day-to-day glitches.
Yeah, things you wouldn't see on a spec sheet.
Right. Persistent HDMI handshake problems, occasional firmware bugs that forced people to do a full system reset, little frustrations that add up.
So when you connect all these dots, a very clear picture emerges.
It does. This is a very, very specific product for a very specific person. So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, if you're building your very first home theater, maybe in a small or medium-sized room, and you're pairing it with some efficient modern speakers, this thing is a phenomenal deal.
Absolutely. You're getting legitimate Dolby Atmos, 8K support, and great gaming tech for a price that is, frankly, almost impossible to beat.
But, and this is the big but,
If you have large, demanding speakers or a big open-concept living room, or you just want the option to upgrade later with more power,
you have to skip it. The weak power and that lack of preamp outputs are non-starters.
it's just not for you.
Which brings up a really important question, I think, for anyone buying any new tech.
Yeah.
When you're looking at that spec sheet, how important is it to dig deeper and investigate the real-world conditions? Like driving all the channels at once versus just trusting the ideal numbers they print right there on the box.
Something to think about.